Weather is sponsored by the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Welcome to the show. It's the Wednesday edition with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, Matt Pajeski, our producer. Frank Ladd is behind the glass. We got a team ready to go. How are you, buddy? Happy October.
It is October 1st. We have already had one day of playoff baseball. It's in the books. Yesterday was a fun day, even though the Cardinals were not involved.
It's a reminder how good that is. I mean, that place in Cleveland was charged up, and they lost. Baby. Scuba with 14 Ks. Then Wrigley Field, Mike Schilt, the Padres, they get shut down, and the Cubs win. Then you got the Mets, or the Mets are out. Yankees, Red Sox in New York, and that's a low-scoring game. And then the Red Sox win it, and then the Dodgers are the Dodgers again. They put it on the Reds, who actually have a good pitching staff. So that could have been
a couple of bombs.
That would have been the Cardinals had they snuck in somehow as the third wild card. You go to Dodger Stadium and you get absolutely destroyed. Is that what you want?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you talking? Look, okay. The kind of Cardinals years we were used to for 15, 20 years. No. Because when you're talking about the 2004 Cardinals, the 2011, 2006 teams that either went to World Series or were in World Series, 2013, those kinds of teams, no, that wouldn't be good enough. But for this past season, which was not supposed to be a playoff year at all, I would absolutely have taken just get into the dance and see what happens. This would have been one of those, we shouldn't have made it this far anyway, and they did, so good for them.
See, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit just for the sake of disagreeing, but I do feel like going to Dodger Stadium and getting absolutely trounced and reminded once again how far away you are from the teams that can do it. Yes, making the playoffs is great, but you'd be done in 2 days. It'd be done by tonight. There's not a chance with the pitching staff that they have, unless Sonny Gray comes out there and absolutely shoves and has one of his amazing games. Not even McGreevy can save you in the playoffs that he's never, are you kidding me? That he's never been in, with that place bearing down on you, and they don't have a hitter who can hit 20 home runs except for Wilson Contreras. I mean, I just didn't see, it would have reminded me how far away they are, and it would have been very painful, and everybody would have collapsed on Ollie Marmol, and it would have delayed the inevitable that the season is over. And where's Heim Bloom? And let's get this thing going for the offseason. That would have been the vibe, because I'm about to get into what was the vibe yesterday, which I was actually surprised. I'm not going to say I was disappointed. I was surprised at the negative vibe about yesterday. But anyway.
But doesn't it, I don't know, I guess, and I do want to get to that too, because that's the important stuff. But doesn't it already do that for you, knowing that you saying that if they had gotten to the playoffs and faced the Dodgers and gotten trounced last night and then probably again tonight, remind you how far away you are? Isn't missing out on the playoffs for the last 3 years, doesn't that do it too?
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, for me, just not getting there is, I would rather get there and have, hey, to me, it's about the lead up to the postseason. I love when you're getting to each individual series. So like for the Cardinals, they'd be in a wild card series. It's the buildup of that day of clinching the wild card spot. Then you get that day off and you're like, the playoffs are tomorrow. I can't wait for the playoffs. Yeah. And then if you are fortunate enough to win that series, it's the buildup to the division series, right? You get a couple of days to enjoy the fact your team's in the DS. Then you get to enjoy the fact your team's in the LCS. And maybe, if everything goes well, enjoy the fact your team's about to play in the World Series. I love those anticipation days. But if you're good and you know that there's a shot, like in 2006, that team backed in at the last minute, but man, they had some players. I mean, they had, as they say today,
they have some dudes
And
on that 06 team. And 11, they sneak in the last day,
Right.
and it's like, uh-oh, the Cardinals made it in, and they've got some players on that team, including the best right-handed hitter that anybody had seen in years. So that's different. And then they had a staff. That's the biggest thing of all. Both of those teams had starters. The 06 team was very surprising with Weaver and Reyes and all those guys doing their thing, but they still had a good rotation. The 11 team had a really nice rotation. This 25 team does not. I mean, I would have, look, I don't want to say I don't want to make the playoffs. It would have been great, but I know what would have been right around the corner. And it's Miles Michaelis throwing a ball down the middle and Shohei Ohtani hitting it 500 feet. That doesn't sound like fun.
Well, I mean, to me, again, it's more fun than doing nothing. We're not that far removed from an LCS. It's only been 6 years.
They got swept.
They did get swept. Washington, I
remember having that conversation too. And I was down in Atlanta for that series, and they win the series. Remember, they scored 10 runs in the first inning, and they go on to win it in 5, and everybody's fired up. And then the Dodgers got knocked out, if I recall, and the Nationals were now your opponent. And I had Ozzie Smith on KMOX that next morning, and I'm like, look at this. The Cardinals dodge the Dodgers, and they're going to take on the Nationals. And he goes, be careful what you wish for, Tom. They have a staff.
Yeah.
And I was worried after I heard that from the Wizard, and he was 100% right. They got swept. Tough deal. That was not fun, but it was nice to be in the NLCS. My point is this. I can't wait for the day that the Cardinals finally get back to being a power, and it is going to take time. It is not going to be a quick fix. I hope they're competitive next year, and they can have some fun with some good athletic players that can make contact, some good pitchers that can shove every once in a while, because this year was a lot of seeing what you have and knowing that it was going to be the end of a chapter and the start of a new one. Now the chapter has begun. We've opened it up, and it's Chaim Bloom in charge. And I kind of liked yesterday. Not everybody did, however.
Who didn't like it?
Duh. I mean,
is it
yesterday became,
is it because they brought Ollie back?
Yeah. And
okay.
I mean, let me tell you. By the way, the news is starting to break here that Albert Pujols is believed to be the leading choice as manager of the Angels. Let me just put that out. Ken Rosenthal just seconds ago.
Okay.
Sources, Albert Pujols believed to be Angels owner Artie Moreno's leading choice as next manager. I believe that, and I think he's going to be the next manager. And that sort of adds to this whole thing that happened yesterday. When Chaim Bloom sat,
and this is a story, by the way, Ken Rosenthal also doing work with Katie Wu and Sam Bloom. Is a Bloom or Blum? I'm not exactly sure. But Katie Wu is in on this story. And I saw it last night, or it was yesterday afternoon. Bob Nightingale said that he, Torrey Hunter, and Michael Young were candidates for the job. And then there was a report from the Dominican that he was going to get it pretty definitively last night, talking about Albert Pujols, and now today Ken Rosenthal. But this is leading into the Ollie Marmol discussion, because the amount of times, Tom, you and I get messages on this show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or get text messages about that's who people want to see manage this team. They want Albert, or they want Yachty. They want somebody different than Oliver Marmol. That's what we get quite a bit when we've been doing Gashouse Gang.
Yeah. I mean,
and I don't get it.
Yesterday,
I'm not...
when Bloom sat with the local writers and confirmed in that gathering that he's bringing Ollie Marmol back and that he is going to have his job, they tweeted it out like they should. The news is official. Ollie Marmol's coming back. We all knew this. We talked to Ollie. All he ever talked about was can't wait to work with Chaim, and they work together. And, you know, he wasn't going to talk to us on the day of Bloom's press conference, but we anticipated we would get to talk to him soon when he comes back as manager. I mean, how many times did we say it? But anyway, it became as a surprise to people because they started to revolt. I mean, I saw on social media channels that they didn't want Ollie to come back. The people were upset that Ollie was coming back, that people for some reason thought that there was a shot at getting Yachty. I mean, all these things were going on about that were anti-Marmol, and I know they're out there. We see them all the time on our feed. Well, there are a lot of people that do understand why Ollie is back. And I think a lot of people give him, including all of us, I would imagine, give him a little bit of grace in that he hasn't had a very good roster to work with recently.
When he did, guess what he did? He had 93 wins.
He won a division.
So
he blew the Phillies. He didn't, but they blew the Phillies series, and he was part of that. So he got criticism for that. He also replaced Mike Schild, who was fired, and people hated the firing, and it was very clunky. And so he never recovered necessarily in everyone's favor from that either. But this was the other one, and I'm going to read it because it was a tweet, so it's public. But it was a discussion I had with Scott Fawn. You know, Scott Fawn is the state of Missouri, has for a long time been writing for, he's the publisher of the Missouri Times, covers politics in Columbia. I said, my tweet yesterday, you probably saw it, was promoting the Gashouse Gang. Hey, today was a big day for Cardinals fans to absorb. Thanks for being there with us. This was when the four of us had a chance to visit on the Gashouse Gang. Scott said, but was it a big day? After a lot of hype, it seemed like a fairly unimpressive guy.
What?
Saying he is keeping all the people who have done all the losing. Zero changes, zero sense of urgency. I'm not sure what anyone left that press conference with confidence in.
I believe our friend Scott has just revealed himself as a casual. That's okay, though. You can be a casual fan and not know anything. That's all right.
I had a conversation with him, and I told him, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I said, look, I disagree, and I'm going to walk you through it. This was about reintroducing yourself to the fan base and the media, letting them know that you're urgently wanting to turn the team around, which he did. There's no quick fix, which he did. It's time to build the franchise back to a powerhouse. And I told him, don't get so hung up on the manager. Marmol's more than capable of leading this movement because Bloom does like him. Bloom sees the potential there. He could have gotten rid of him if he wanted to, but he didn't. So at this point, this is hanging on Bloom, and they think that they have the guy that they want. Now, there were other people, close friends of mine, who texted me this morning and said, hey, I watched the Gashouse Gang yesterday. I love the show, but I'm going to go up against Bernie on this. And my friend said that Bernie compared Ollie to Tony, comparing their records early in their career. And I'm like, don't look at it that way. What we're saying is that
it's missing the point.
Yeah, that we're not comparing him to Tony La Russa, for crying out loud. What we did was say the focus is to give Ollie a chance, despite what his record says. Don't compare him to Tony. We're saying his record of success is what it is, and also the roster that he's been given. I mean, there's got to be some sort of time to elapse here before you just throw Ollie Marmol out. I don't see. There's a lot of anti-Ollie without a lot of evidence to me. That's how I feel. And I know that people don't like him. I get it, but I'm not totally on board with it.
All right. So this is okay. There's another side to this. It's not just, hey, give the guy a minute and let's see what happens when it's over. This is a very easy exercise. Like, if people really sat down and thought about it and they thought, okay, why did Joe Torre not do particularly well when he was the manager of the Cardinals? Just think about this. Why was his record here not as good as it was when he went to New York years later?
Right.
Why? I can't figure it out. How come when Tony La Russa came into town and he assumed the job here, there were, and I remember them because I used to get really upset with people who were, oh, this Tony guy sucks, get him out of here. And there was a lot of that. And if you don't remember it, you were either not around for it or you're lying to yourself because it happened. I remembered it because I used to get into arguments with people about it.
Dude, he got more criticism than all of them combined.
I said, well, guys, look, just because he's not Whitey Herzog does not mean he's not a good manager. He's got a track record. But people here were ready to throw him out of town when he got here initially. So I want people to remember that too. But the truth is, if you have a team that's not very stacked, if there aren't a whole lot of good players on it, your manager does not blinking matter. It doesn't matter. If Terry Francona were the manager of this team in 2025, if Yadier Molina or Albert Pujols or Joe Torre in his prime or Tony La Russa in his prime, that team would have not been very good. And if you look at metrics at all, by all indications, The 2025 Cardinals even overperformed what they should have done. They probably won more games than they should have. Now, is that Oliver Marmol who did that? I don't know. Maybe he's got a hand in that, but it is mostly about the players. It's mostly about the guys on the field. And when I say mostly, I mean like 95%. Mm-hmm. It is almost entirely about the makeup of the roster. And it's not very hard to figure that out. It's not very hard to figure it out when you look at some of these other managers who get blamed for underperformance by a team or get credit for overperformance or whatever. All you got to do is look at the players on the field. It's all about how good your rotation is. Terry Francona right now is working with one of the best rotations in baseball. They have performed exceptionally well, even though they're a lot of guys that if you're a casual baseball fan, you probably don't know a lot of names in that rotation. But that rotation has been spectacular this year compared to the rest of baseball. That's why they're in this position. And the Mets fell apart. That's why they're in the playoffs right now. But if Terry Francona were the 2025 Cardinals manager, do you know where the Cardinals would be right now? Exactly where they are right now, out of the playoffs. It's not about him. And I think people are badly missing the point when it comes to Oliver Marmol and what happened in 2025.
Maybe I was also just overall surprised at the backlash after Heim made it official. Like, what were you thinking was going to happen? And I guess not everybody watches this show or listens to KMOX. Maybe because I thought it was laid out pretty clearly what was going on. That maybe is what surprised me most of all. But anyway, that's just the way it is when you have a large fan base. Not everybody's on the same page. Let me throw in a couple of these comments here. And, Graham's reminding us of the fire TLR banners. We talked about it yesterday. Absolutely. DLW saying Ollie's not the problem. People want him out. Haven't listened to Tuesdays with us. I appreciate that. Ask anyone. Ollie, that's the same one. Ask anyone in baseball. There is no one in baseball that's more knowledgeable as Molina. He was coaching the team from behind the plate. He deserves it over Ollie any day of the year. From Cards Fan 80. I would not dispute that if Yachty knows more baseball than another person. That's not an issue here. The question is, who is best fit to manage the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals with Chaim Bloom in charge? Yachty or Molina or Ollie Marmol? Managing a team is different than who knows the most baseball. And Ollie knows baseball.
Well, every
Yachty knows. Okay. They all know the game, guys.
I'm going to take exception with this.
This is about managing a baseball team, which requires a lot of different skills.
I'm going to take a different stance on this because every guy who is managing a baseball team knows baseball really damn well. They do. Every single one of them, everyone. And Yadier is a really smart baseball. There's no question about that. But all of these guys who are managing baseball teams know the game. So I don't know what people think happens or how this works. But I do get the sense that a lot of people don't quite understand. And I thought it would be easier to figure out. I guess I have given people too much credit. But it is, if you don't think this is all about the roster, almost entirely about the roster, you are completely missing the point. It's everything, man. Every single smart baseball guy, every single one of them says, if you don't have the players, you are not going to win.
Here's Mark. We'll take this. There are a lot of comments, both positive and negative. Here's one from Mark. Your show changed my mind about Ollie. I think he's a good guy. I just think he's in a no-win situation and will be the scapegoat next year, and then we're back to changing managers mid-season again. Ooh, Mark with an ominous post. I'm not sure that that's the case, but look, I can't predict the future. I just know who the manager is right now.
That could end up happening. I hope that's not how they make decisions, though.
It sounds like Bloom likes him a lot. Not only did he talk about the team's fight in his press conference, but he went deep on it in the conversation with John Rooney as well, which we aired on KMOX yesterday and throughout the morning today. Gashouse Gang, KMOX. I love these discussions. Don't get me wrong. I think it's important. And there's so much to get into about yesterday. I'm fired up. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling. SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. The Gashouse Gang will be right back.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Terry, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000, or online at youridoc.com.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L, 544-3600.
The Dave Glover Show, weekdays at 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Just going to cycle some of these. This is for our video audience, so you'll have
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Get in there, YouTube.
At KMOX Sports.
Absolutely. Get in there. Can I be candid? Marmal's Tuesday participation on Gashouse Gang did a lot to change opinions for those who watch or listen, says Walt. DLW thinks that Ollie will finish the 26th season. Matt's questioning whether Heim would be able to handle Yachty in his first year. Look, who doesn't love Yachty or Molina, but he's tough. I think there's there's a question. He's very strong.
He's very intense. And here's another thing that may not work for every player that plays under him.
I think he'll be a really good one, but yes, in the right situation, I think he's going to be a great one. This is kind of a long one from Philip, but he said, like it or not, Chaim and Ollie have a good personal and working relationship. Something else to consider is we probably won't be seeing the Cardinals as a legitimate playoff team before 28. What big name experienced manager would want to come here right now with all the uncertainty and questions? Case in point. I mean, Terry Francona went to the Reds because he thought they had a shot. Bruce Bochy's out with the Rangers. He doesn't want to go through a rebuild. I mean, so look, we got
Snitker's out today.
Snitker's out today.
He is now going to be an advisor. They had a press conference with him.
Yeah.
So,
yep, it's going to be a fascinating offseason. Lots of changes are going to be made, I think, with the roster. It sounds, though, like Chaim is going to keep a lot of the front office together and a lot of the coaching staff together. He wants that continuity. He's been watching them, feels like he knows them over the last 2 years. When we come back, we're going to get another national perspective, as we did yesterday. But this time around, it's from the Boston point of view. What happened to Chaim in Boston, which is as close to a baseball crazy town as we have here, just in a different kind of way. That's Chad Jennings, Red Sox writer for The Athletic. They're in the playoffs. Back in a moment on KMOX, the Gashouse Gang.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. That is the best all-natural weight loss supplement on the marketplace, and you can pick it up at supplement superstores. Here's what it's doing for me. It'll do the same for you. Get the metabolism working 24/7 the way that it's supposed to. Helps me fight cravings, gives me that all-day focused energy with no crash at the end of the day, and lowers cortisol levels, which can help with sleep. So don't wait for the new year to get moving. If you want to get in better shape, do it now. Do it in advance of the holidays. Go to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the 213 Complex. You can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's 83 degrees and partly sunny. The high today will be 87.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And right now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is offering their lowest ticket price in years, starting at $55, including fees, only for a limited time. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Hey, Dave Glover here. You guys have heard me talk about my volunteering with Bethesda Hospice, but there's much more that Bethesda offers older adults. For a South County retirement community, for example, you can't do better than Bethesda Terrace. Residents and families love the gorgeous backyard with its patios and water features, exceptional dining, pet-friendly, plenty of activities, and frequent happy hours. Bethesda Terrace is the perfect location for your retirement years. In fact, residents often say they wish they had moved in sooner. Learn more about Bethesda Terrace at BethesdaHealth.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
The Cardinals have a new president of baseball operations.
Please join me in welcoming Chaim Bloom.
From his introductory press conference to his first one-on-one interview.
How does it feel on the first day of a new era of your baseball career?
Feels great. I'm excited to be here.
This will be a busy offseason for the Redbirds. Trust KMOX to bring you every story, informed analysis, and all the breaking news on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals.
Well, you heard me say it. We aren't where we want to be, competing for the division and for the World Series. We have talent here. We have more talent coming. And we have some of the makings of that core, but we need more. And so our top priority will be to build our talent base for the long term.
Chaim Bloom, president of baseball operations of the St. Louis Cardinals. In 1995, Walt Jocketty carried it for a dozen years. He was fired in 2007. John Mozeliak took over as GM, eventually was named president of baseball operations, but an 18-year run. And now here we are in a new era, a new chapter. Chaim Bloom, the 42-year-old who started his career at the major league level with the Tampa Bay Rays in 2005, was there till 19, and then the Boston Red Sox hired him in 2020, and he was let go from that job in 2023. To talk about that and more is Chad Jennings, Red Sox writer for The Athletic. It's great to have you on the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. How are you, Chad?
Hi, guys. I'm doing all right.
Well, it's great to be with you, and good luck covering things as you watch this series move forward today. It should be pretty wild there at Yankee Stadium. We'll get to that in just a moment, but I want to get your impressions of Chaim Bloom in the Cardinals situation, and more importantly, what happened in his last stop. How would you summarize it in Boston?
Well, it's such a different situation I think he's coming into. I mean, it's still a big franchise coming off of a down period, but it's not. I mean, look, he came in here with the Mookie Betts situation hanging over everything, and to come into that kind of move is not on the table for him, right? Like he's obviously going to try to. I would assume he's going to try to trade Arenado, could try to trade Sonny Gray either this offseason or at the deadline. Some difficult decisions to make about, Jordan Walker, that kind of stuff wasn't here. But I think what was hanging over him here was what to do with Mookie when it felt like Mookie was not going to sign long term. And then ultimately he and ownership decided to trade him. And that hung over everything that happened here, right? That's the kind of move that was just very difficult to escape. The 2020 season, his first year was awful. After they traded Mookie, that team was terrible. But then 21, they made the playoffs. And then I think there was a sense when they fired him after 23 that kind of unfinished, right? He could have been building up to something and had kind of taken some half measures. And it felt like a time when they were ready to really shift into building up mode because he'd gotten the farm system built up a little bit. And so I don't know that we ever saw the vision completed here. You can question easily whether a lot of things worked. I mean, the Mookie trade, they didn't get nearly enough out of it in the end. But I don't know exactly. I'm curious. It would be interesting to know what the next move was he was going to make, because it did feel like now we're starting to see, okay, now you've got to start building on top of it. And he was gone before he got a chance to do that. And so that's the end game here that I don't think we ever got to see.
From the outside of that perspective, so that's the rest of us looking in, it seems like he was given a raw deal there. Is there a realization locally that maybe he was given a raw deal?
Well, the narrative here was bad. I mean, it just wasn't. It was ugly. They brought in Craig Breslow, and you can't. I don't see anything the Red Sox have done now that's different from the way Chaim was running things. Right. Last year was the first year under Breslow was much more of the same. I mean, it was basically the exact same thing, except then Brez was here for this winter when he got to kick it up a notch, right? He finally got to actually make the building moves that Chaim was sort of set up to begin to make his first year out. So he got to build up, and now some of the fruits of that are paying off, with Crochet here and with Alex Bregman and Chapman and all this. That's worked out really well. Whether it was a raw deal, I mean, look, it's the Red Sox, and they went to the playoffs once during Chaim's time here. you can't really argue that it worked great, but I also think he was given a directive to do something that was very long term and then didn't have time to complete that long term process.
Are Bloom's fingerprints still on the organization? I would say probably the first that comes to mind for me would be Roman Anthony.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, those drafts when Heim was here are certainly paying off. You know, that decision, and that was an interesting decision, right? I mean, Anthony was I think it's either a supplemental or second pick. He was not their top pick that year, but they chose to approach the draft where they saved money to be able to sign Anthony above slot later in the draft. So that's more of a, look, is that like great amateur scouting? Is that decision from the head guy in charge of baseball ops? It's probably a combination of all of that. So how much of Anthony is purely a Heim move, I don't know, but he's certainly a part of that. And yeah, I think certainly you're seeing some of that. I mean, he had started trying to revamp some of the pitching work here that has paid off with some guys, right? Brian Bayo, Tanner Houck, Mizzou guy, before he got hurt, obviously had an all-star season last year. There's some of the fruits of the things that he was doing here, I think, were starting to work. Again, I think what you were missing here was a time when instead of doing some of those half measures to kind of try to keep the team competitive, we never saw Heim make those bigger moves. So the fingerprints are still there, but the question is, would Heim have made the really successful big splashes like Crochet, like Alex Bregman, that have helped these Red Sox get to the playoffs?
What is the dynamic with ownership there, and whoever the president of baseball operations is working with that ownership?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty involved. I mean, John Henry is, I think, probably more hands-on than people realize because John doesn't speak to the media very much. He's not out there very often, but he is notoriously very involved in all the decision-making. So I think that was, again, when they fire Heim and bring in Breslow, I mean, there's just not much difference in the way those two approach things. But, Breslow did come in. He's a former player, right? Had pitched. I think maybe you'd think that maybe there's some, he would bring some of that knowledge of the clubhouse here that maybe felt like Heim didn't have. But also, Heim was pretty good at, the one thing I appreciated covering Heim is he's good at explaining himself. And so whether that becomes, is that an extension of ownership where he's having to explain things that ownership has told him to do or whatever, maybe. But I do think that was a strength of his where even if you disagreed with the moves, I always felt like Heim was out front saying, here's why we did this. Here's what we're thinking. Even with the Mookie trade, he was very upfront about, here's exactly why I did that. And here's the part of it that's not going to work and it's not going to look good early, but here's why we felt we had to do it. And I appreciated that about him. And I would think that was something ownership liked. And that's something I think that has maybe not been as prevalent now under Breslow, even though Bres does have the experience of a player. I don't think his public communication is as strong as Heim's was when Heim was here.
The couple of things left for Chad Jennings of The Athletic, who has covered the Yankees and the Red Sox, by the way, for The Athletic. And he is from Sikeston, Missouri. So
that's right.
So you obviously have knowledge of this area and Cardinal Nation. So let me ask you your perspective of the Cardinals and where it stands right now and how long you kind of envision this taking for a fan base that can grow impatient.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I grew up listening to KMOX while I was driving a tractor on my dad's farm. So I followed the Cardinals for a long time. I don't follow them as closely as I did then because I'm obviously out here covering teams out here. But they're in a weird spot to me because you do see, Mason Wynn looks good. There's some what was it? Herrera had a good year, right? Like they've got pieces here, but gosh, there's. How many? I mean, what can you get for Arenado at this point? Like, I don't know. That seems like an obvious move to make, but Katie Woo's written about that Nolan seems more open to being traded, but I don't know what the options are there. I don't know what to make of Jordan Walker. He reminds me of back when I was on the Yankees beat, the Yankees traded for Michael Pineda, and the guy they gave up was this guy Jesus Montero, who was a huge prospect, had spent a little bit of time in the big leagues. And she was a sure thing hitter. I mean, questions about whether he was going to be able to catch, but like a no doubt hitter who then didn't hit. So is that Jordan Walker? I don't know. but I think they've got a lot of questions. There's, some, what's the kid's name? Weatherholt, is that they've
JJ
got
Weatherholt
coming up where they're going to have, they've got some talent coming, but I don't know. It's one of those where the pieces just don't seem to fit together that well right now. Right. I mean, and I think that will be part of Heim's thing too. Heim did do that a lot here with the Red Sox. I felt like there was an attempt always to shore up depth and make the roster work with some guys that optionality and things like that. The Red Sox right now, the guy who's probably going to hit leadoff for them tonight in Game 2 is probably going to be Rob Refsnyder, a guy the Red Sox under Heim signed to a minor league deal and has since emerged as one of the best verse lefties platoon bats. So that I think is clearly something that needs to be addressed better, is a roster that fits together a little better than what they have right now. But how long that takes is tough, right? I mean, you're counting on prospects. I mean, look at the Mookie trade. Again, they traded for Mookie. Alex Verdugo at the time looked like a really emerging, young, really good outfielder. Jeter Downs, the shortstop they got, huge prospect, was at least going to be, at worst, this guy was going to be a bat-first utility guy. Never did anything in the big leagues. Verdugo fell off very quickly, was a really good player in 2020, and then just became a really below average hitter who really wasn't even all that good defensively by the end. So when you're counting on young players and trying to build from within, there's always some risk there, and some of that's going to really decide how quickly this thing turns around. Jordan Walker takes a step forward, unlocks something in this off season, and it's suddenly a pretty good hitter next year. You're a lot closer. But if that doesn't happen, that's a whole other problem. Now that's another hole you still got to fill.
So as we do this show here, the Red Sox lead 1-0 in the series at Yankee Stadium. Game 2 is at 5:00 today, our time. So what do you think?
The Red Sox, well, the one problem the Red Sox have now is Luke Giolito's hurt. Yeah. And that was a big deal to me. That their pitching staff seemed really built for October. They weren't a great pitching team in the regular season, but to be able to go Crochet in Game 1 and then Bayo and Giolito in Games 2 and 3, then with a bullpen that is very built for October, right? Chapman, big time at the end. This Garrett Whitlock kid who's been so good for them the last few years, kind of a multi-inning guy who you could imagine really using in some really high leverage situations with some mix and match guys in there. I thought that their pitching staff was really built for October, but that really hinged on Giolito in the 3 spot, because you have 3 starters you really leaned on. If the Yankees win tonight, the Red Sox have to go into a Game 3 that's a must-win at Yankee Stadium, and they're probably going to start Connolly Early, who he has 4 big league starts, and he's going to make that start in a must-win game at Yankee Stadium. That's tough. Look, they're in good shape. Win 1 game. But it's, I think they need to get this one, because that seems like that's a big ask for a young kid.
I agree with you. On the flip side, the Yankees, who got into the World Series last year for the first time since 2009, they get knocked out today by the Red Sox. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. Yeah. What an absolute disaster that would be. One of our viewers on YouTube wants to know if you're a Mizzou grad. That answer is yes. You are a Mizzou.
The answer is yes. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I graduated from Mizzou in 2002. I was there when Kareem Rush was there. I covered the basketball team for the Missourian.
All right, so you and I probably ran into each other then, because I was doing some stuff there as well.
Being a Mizzou grad, I'm surprised he didn't lead with that, because my experience with everybody who went to Mizzou or Syracuse or Northwestern journalism school is they can't wait to tell you. They cannot.
Well, listen, I live out here now. All I hear about is Syracuse.
Exactly.
Chad, good stuff. Appreciate you being on with us, and all the best to you as you follow the Red Sox here in October.
Sure thing, guys. I'm really happy to do it.
Chad Jennings, writer for The Athletic, Sikeston, Missouri native. Great insight on Chaim Bloom. And we will take a break. When we come back, we'll have a final segment. We're going to get some of your comments back up in there and talk a little bit more about what's happening with the Cardinals and what we heard yesterday from Chaim Bloom. Back in a moment on KMOX.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now matters more than ever because now we have new treatments that could change everything. This is Megan Lynch. Join me Saturday, October 25th at the Chesterfield Amphitheater for the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's the region's largest fundraiser to fight dementia and support those living with the disease because now is the time for action. You can join in the fight by registering for the walk at alz.org/walk. That's alz.org/walk.
KMOX is everywhere. 1120 a.m. Streaming live on the Odyssey app and now at 104.1 FM.
You know, there's nothing we should concede heading into 2026. We just need to make sure that the things we actually do and the roadmap that we follow is geared towards that bigger goal.
Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations. Interesting situation they put themselves in because they never used the word rebuild yesterday.
They used the word build.
They did say build a lot.
Build a wit.
So we know that's build and build a wit.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. There you go, Cardinals. There's your new
You're welcome.
Poster. Build and Bill. But they have, I think, a situation also where they don't want to tell the fans that they're not out of it either. They want to fight and claw and not concede anything. As he said, here's, Cole Bassett's left foot, a common smart comment from him, said Bloom's got something to prove and the Cardinals will benefit. I actually agree with that. I think that after getting fired by Boston, he will be out to show everybody that he can get a team to a championship level. Especially everybody knows that the person that takes the Cardinals back to glory they'll put a statue out there of you. Yeah. I mean, if that's what we do around here. I mean, we'll put a red jacket on you. I mean, this is what we do. The person that does get it done at this point, as far as it's fallen, is going to be the hero. And, perhaps that is, he doesn't come off as that kind of have that kind of an ego. I'm just saying, I think he does have the edge to try to get himself back to where he used to be, which was one of the most respected guys in the game.
Well, what he should know is this is an organization that, in terms of the expectation of winning, is as high as it is in Boston, though maybe the grace period you're going to get here is a little higher than it would be in Boston. And like Boston, like Red Sox fans, if you do well and you start to put a good product on the field, it will not take long for people to show up and support it. Unlike his other job in Tampa, working for the Rays, having very little resources to work with, comparatively speaking, and also being able to put the competitive teams on the field that they've been doing over the last 20 years and still not getting support from the fan base. That's difficult. It's not a great place to be, but he does know that being here, all you got to do is put something out there people believe in, and they will show up to watch it. They will show up to the ballpark.
I'm looking at I see you're tagged on that. One of our Twitter followers said, my complaint is more predictability. I can almost always guess what Ollie is going to do next. I found Chaim saying that they want to do things differently. I wonder how much of an effect that will have on Ollie, and if they try to change up what they do just in general. If that comes from Chaim, I think that's really important. I saw some people say that, the fans are going to boycott again in 2026 as long as Ollie is the manager. I don't believe that is why they did that. It was not because of Ollie.
But let me just quickly address Timothy, who tweeted in the one that you just mentioned. You can make that exact same complaint about every manager. Mm-hmm. Every manager does things. You kind of know what he's going to do. You kind of know who he's going to go to in the bullpen. You kind of know what lineup decisions he's going to make. That's pretty standard across the board around baseball. And it would be really difficult to argue he did poorly with the bullpen this past year, because he did not. He did very, very well with the bullpen.
And I think just in general, and I know we have to go, but just in general, the Cardinals as an organization need to change it up. They need to change up the way they did things. Yeah. That's what you want right now if you're a fan. You need something refreshing, something that is going to change your... Yes, like a fresca. Something that's going to change your mindset. It is time for Cardinal baseball in 2026.
Let's go.
Thanks for joining us on the Gashouse Gang.
See you.